Hi, everyone. You are listening to Radio Cherry Bombe, and I'm your host, Carrie Diamond, coming to you from Newsstand Studios at Rockefeller Center in the heart of New York City. Today's guest is one of our faves. It's Natasha Pickowicz, pastry chef, author, cat mom, Cherry Bombe cover star, and organizer of some of the best charity bake sales in the whole country. Natasha joins me in just a minute to talk about her brand new book, Everyone Hot Pot, which is out tomorrow, January 27th. Natasha is known for her desserts and for her cakes in particular, so her foray into the savory side of food is an unexpected twist and very interesting. We talk about her book, what Hot Pot is all about, her collaborations with her mom, and what she's been up to lately. It's a fun chat, so stay tuned. I mentioned that Natasha was a Cherry Bombe cover star. That issue is long sold out, but we're sharing Natasha's cover story and photos on our Substack. If you haven't subscribed to our Substack yet, visit cherrybombe.substack.com. You can access all of our free content, newsletters, and recipes. You can also become a paid subscriber and get access to exclusive content, discounts to Jubilee tickets, and access to our virtual meetings. A subscription is $6 a month or $55 for the year. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. Now, let's check in with today's guest. Natasha Pickowicz, welcome back to Radio Cherry.
I love coming here. Such a blast.
I love talking to you.
Yeah.
You are so interesting. There are so many chapters of your life. I mean, we've talked about your Montreal years, school, your family, your cake book, all the things. Today, you're here because you have a gorgeous new book, Everyone Hot Pot. I love the title, Everyone Hot Pot.
Thank you.
Sounds like a song or something.
Ah.
We're going to talk all about it. You haven't really talked about it yet.
No, I mean, it's so exciting because I'm preparing for this big book release and this campaign, and so much of the cookbook process is holding on to these secrets, and you're kind of waiting to deploy them, and I'm just bursting at the seams. I finally get to talk about, like, what is the book? Why does the book exist? What's going on? And yeah, so it's just all feels so fresh and new and exciting to me. Yeah.
When this book was announced, everyone was surprised that your follow-up to your previous book is a savory book.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it kind of surprises me too, but I think part of that was kind of strategic because, I think with pastry especially, you can kind of get pigeonholed into a certain genre, a certain kind of technique, expectations. And I really wanted to show people that I could do other things. And I've been producing and hosting these hot pot dinners for years now, not to mention the fact that I grew up with it and it's been a part of my social life for decades. And I just thought that this would be a great kind of segue, this kind of single topic book, really like dive deep into this one specific culinary tradition and show people, other things that I'm about, because I'm not just about being I'm not just more than cake, pun intended.
You contain multitudes,
right,
Natasha.
Exactly.
Before we jump into Hot Pot and what it is and what the book is all about, we have to catch up.
I know.
I haven't seen you in a long time. It's January. Are you a resolutions girly? How do you approach that whole thing?
Yeah, no. I can't say that I am. I'm all about setting yourself up for success. And there's something about setting a resolution to me that feels almost like off-putting, where I'm kind of like, actually, life hack, you can start a resolution anytime you want. It doesn't have to be by this like Western calendar of January 1st. I mean, those are things that I try to be mindful of all the time, and I think that coming into the finish line with this cookbook especially has also like made me reassess a lot of rituals I have, patterns in my day, like ways that I want to work, because creating and producing a cookbook is such a specific tunneling kind of work. And a lot of things kind of go out the window when you're doing that, whether it's like, all the buzzwords that people use when they're talking about resolutions, like self-care and fitness and your diet and whatever. So I think more than anything, wrapping up this book is a chance for me to start fresh. So that's almost like my new year in a way. Yeah.
Okay. Do you do any sort of reflection or journaling or anything like that?
Oh, I'm a huge journaler. I keep all my journals. So I probably have like 30 notebooks. So that if anybody ever saw, I would have to change my identity and leave the country. But they literally span my whole, adult life. And I actually had a very nice coincidence where I started a journal and I was a few pages from finishing the whole book just before the close of the year. So that actually felt symbolically really nice. I think I just went through some like personal changes this year, and I think the self-reflection is a really important way of just articulating to the self, you know, how you're doing, how you're feeling, and what's next, and looking back. And I do like that practice of the new year of kind of being like, how was my year? You know, like, and just as important to my journaling practice is, you know, things like going on really long walks, which I think is also a great context for reflection and sort of looking back. So I think that I've been doing a lot of those kind of emo walks too, or I've been like...
An emo walk.
Oh.
Love it.
Love a 4-hour long walk going nowhere. I've done a lot of those. I went to Flushing to kind of do some hot pot like reconnaissance, and I just decided to spontaneously go on a walk, and I just walked east, and I kind of ended up in Nassau County. I was like in Long Island, and because you know, there's something very absorbing, similar to the practice of writing in a journal, where it is that blank page, but it's the sidewalk. And I think that is a great way for me also to like generate ideas for work and think about how things have gone. And yeah, that's equally important to me, I think.
I feel the same way about a long walk. I find them so restorative and inspiring. And it is where I come up with some of my best ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like what they say, you know, that's why people come up with great ideas when they're in the shower, is because those are moments where we're not bombarding our brains with looking at a screen or changing the channel. It's like, that's when our brain can finally be like, okay, I'm going to generate ideas now instead of being fed stuff.
Have you ever come up with a good idea in the shower?
Oh, all the time.
You do?
I mean,
I don't think I've ever come up with a good idea in the shower.
I'm always daydreaming. I'm always thinking, I mean, literally ideas for recipes. I don't know why, but I think it's because it's a moment where your consciousness is kind of like on its own and you're not distracted. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I need to pay more attention in the shower. No, usually it's like jump in, jump out.
Yeah, right.
For me, because I'm not great at getting out of bed.
I love a long decadent shower, especially in the winter. I'm just like,
my problem is I like spending time in bed.
Yeah.
So by the time I finally drag my...
That's what they call it.
I know
they call it that. It's like...
Bed rot is such a funny term. Yeah, I love a good bed rot, especially on a Saturday or a Sunday. But by the time I get out of bed, I can't have this long shower. I just have to jump in, jump out.
Yeah, no, that's good too.
Were you here for the holidays?
I stayed here, and that was intentional. You know, I think also like coming from working in restaurants, you're working Christmas Eve, you're working New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Those are big services. So I already kind of was in this pattern of being like, Christmas isn't a big deal. New Year's Eve is kind of overrated. And I think with the Hot Pot book coming out at the end of January, I was like, this might be the last time where people are offline, I'm relaxing. I wanted to use it as an opportunity to kind of retreat a little bit and just chill out. And it was amazing. Like, I went with my best friend to J.G. Mellon Christmas Eve. We had martinis and cheeseburgers. Christmas Day, I had friends over for our hot pot. Like, we had soup. And I think just being like, yeah, the holidays are different to everyone, and I'm going to see my parents in San Diego a bunch while I'm on tour. They came out for Thanksgiving. They were here in New York, so I feel like I kind of logged in that family time, and this is more about me being like, okay, I need this restorative moment to be alone because I'm about to be like traveling a ton, stimulated in every direction.
Yeah, I call it shot out of a cannon.
Exactly.
Yeah, you are about to enter that phase of the cookbook promotion. I did a staycation also, and it was really nice just to be here. And you forget that people who work in hospitality and the service industry have a completely different relationship to the holidays. When I had my restaurants, it was just like, what do you mean you're going on vacation? You know, you just
we
couldn't
need
relate.
You right now. And I mean, we would be doing special menus with new dishes. There would be all this pressure to like sell out and book these nights. And yeah, I think like, but in a way, I almost liked it because it meant that I didn't have to worry about what am I going to do on New Year's Eve. And like, I don't have to even worry about that. Like, you know, you finish service and you're with your team and you get to have a drink. And it's like the party is kind of built in and you're with your people.
It's funny. I was doing a lot of organizing over the break because I might move. I'm trying to figure that out. But I was like, let me get organized because I need to do a lot of renovations and repairs in my apartment. And I was going through some old restaurant stuff, and I have like all the old menus, and I found all these old New Year's menus, and they kind of gave me PTSD.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at them, and this is so unromantic, but the first thing that crossed my mind is, oh my God, our cost of goods were out of control for the New Year's menu.
Oh my
What were we thinking?
Totally.
You know, caviar, fancy champagne, lobster, scallops, all these things that we didn't have during the normal course of the year.
Totally.
And I was like, we must have lost money every New Year's Eve.
Oh, always. I mean, I remember like, I'm definitely magpie with like pieces of paper. Like I love old menus, like every piece of Cherry Bombe, like memorabilia I've ever had, I'd have stuck in a box somewhere. Like there's something about like a scrap of paper, but I have all these old menus. And I remember finding one the other day, and it was for Flora when it was at the Marcel Breuer building on the Upper East Side.
And
fancy,
you were the pastry chef
fancy
at that restaurant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And our desserts were $11. And this was, like 2019, 2018, before COVID. And I was like, oh my God, I remember being like, that's so much money. Like nobody's going to pay $11 for a dessert. And now I'm like, you go to a bakery and croissants are $13. So much.
Did you see Zoran Mamdani's acceptance speech?
Yes.
Yeah, so good. If you haven't listened to it, folks, you should definitely go listen or read it. And it was funny when he referenced how expensive a cup of coffee is in New York. And I was like, yeah, he's totally right. It's insane.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And it does feel like another era for me when I look at all those things. But I'm a very sentimental person, so I'm happy to have the keepsakes.
Mm-hmm. Same, yeah. It was fun to find things that I didn't even think. And I don't even have a lot. I just have like three like small boxes of memorabilia. One's photos, and then the other two are paper things, because I think same brain, all the notebooks, all the paper. And I was going through it all, and I found the very first program for Cherry Bombe Jubilee.
Wow.
I found all the programs for Jubilee, and I didn't even think I had saved them, because those first Jubilees were just kind of crazy.
Totally.
Like it was a miracle we pulled them off, that we pulled them together, all of it.
So and scrappy, probably.
Nobody was thinking archives or archival anything.
Exactly. And I'm trying to be more mindful about that, especially with, having produced bake sales for almost a decade now. And when we had this like massive one last October, the Great Community Bake Sale, we spent so much time creating all these great assets, like a huge map with like a key of all the bakers. We had cool tickets that had like the graphic on it and all these pieces. And then of course the day of, there was so much going on. I was like blackout. I didn't save a single scrap of anything because I was just like, it's like when you're doing a big Cherry Bombe event, you have to say hi to everyone. It's impossible,
Survival.
Totally.
Survival is usually the main thing on my mind.
But I was so sad because I was like, wait, I need all of these keepsakes, like the lineup, the maps, the, everything. And I think I just posted something on Instagram like, does anyone still have? And someone did, and I like got it, and now I have it. But I desperately need those. And maybe it's because we're on this generation that sort of like came of age before everything was like digital and internet. And so these like analog, concert posters, ticket stubs, that's just in my DNA. Like I love to hang on to that stuff. And I think those keepsakes release memories more than like the digital image of them will do.
I agree.
Like the
100%.
tactile nature of it. So I try to keep those things.
Yeah. And you do such a good job with all the materials that you produce for those bake sales are so good. And we've even gotten some best practices from you for some of the things you do, like how you display like everything that's goodie bags.
Yeah. Well, that's a two-way street because when I was first starting out, I just remember picking your brain about the bomb squad. How do you do that? Like, how do you intake volunteers? Because there was so much of it where I had no clue. I'd never produced an event at that scale before. So, yeah.
And now look at you. That last bake sale was epic. Did I hear the fire department even came?
There was a fire marshal who came. Yeah, it was. But that was another thing.
With just one fire marshal or like an entire?
It was just the one fire marshal, but he was really scary. And I was like.
You didn't have a truck of hot firemen roll up?
He was
we heard there are baked goods. He was hot.
But I was like, I can't make a joke about this right now because we all just want to like de-escalate this situation. And it was mostly about the building crowd being at capacity. But there was a very real sense of like, if he wanted to evacuate everyone from this floor right now, he could do it. And I was there. My role that day was as a host, chef liaison, whatever. So I was like, there's nothing I can do logistically to help negotiate with this person. So I muted the notifications on my phone that were like the stressful texts from everyone that was working on it. And I was just like, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to focus on doing what I've already been doing, which is just saying hi to chefs, working the room, like,
I'm impressed you were able to step away.
I had to. Cause I look at my producing partner, Lindsay, and every time I saw her, she'd be like, buried in a phone call or like texting and like looking so stressed on a walkie-talkie or whatever. And I was just like, you know what? She's so much more capable than me. She is the one that actually understands what's happening. I'm just going to get in the way. So I'm just going to like, let her do her thing.
The stress. I can feel it myself, even though I wasn't. I wasn't there. I'm so sad. I forget where I was. I was out of town. One of the 8 million trips I took last year. But congratulations.
It was absolutely an unforgettable day.
You raised a lot of money. Tell us for whom.
It's a different approach because the scale of the event was so large. We had 107 chefs. We had this giant space that's across from that WSA building on Water Street, so on Maiden Lane. They also have this like other beautiful historic building. We had the whole lobby, the whole ground floor. And I was like, well, this is actually a great opportunity to perhaps also extend this idea of curation to the nonprofits that are in play, our partners here. So usually it would just be the one, like a Planned Parenthood or something like that. But for this, I was like, well, this could be a great way to show some of these smaller, more grassroots organizations on the ground here in New York and how they intersect and deal with different needs of New Yorkers, but essentially are all kind of like focused on the same values and the same things. So we had One Love Community Fridge, the Teaching Kitchen at the Lenox Hill Neighborhood House, the Heart of Dinner, and Make the Road NY. And these were all great friends, people that I've been working with for years, but I just had goosebumps shoot down my legs when I said that, because I think one of the most profound things for me when we did the bake sale was seeing those folks engage with each other. And we intentionally put them at the entrance to the bake sale so that every single person who came through the door would get to see them, see the table they set up, sign-up sheets, places to donate. People brought swag. It was so cool. Teaching Kitchen made something for the bake sale. It was unbelievable, and everyone was there. This was like one of the most frequent pieces of feedback I heard was, oh, it's not just XYZ cool bakery. It's the cool chef owner of the bakery is also here. And I think sometimes with these events in New York, they might send product, but they're not attending. But I think people at this point know you come to the Natasha Bake Sale, you're there, you're hanging out. It's a reunion. It's a way for us to all hang out in ways we don't normally get to do that. So everyone made it a priority to be there, and just being able to see all these people that I love and respect so much. It's really the best part.
People can't see your face right now, but your face is like all lit up just talking about it.
It was amazing. And now I'm planning my book party.
Oh my God, we got to talk about for
the Hot Pot book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, even if I just invited the people who did the bake sale, that's 107 people. So I'm like, I think I know too many people. Like, how am I going to do this?
You do know too many people. Everybody in New York knows you. All right, before we talk about the book, I'm going to change the subject to make it really sad, really sad. But, you're my guest today and it's top of mind. Some of you folks probably saw this on my Instagram, but my beloved cat, Dusty, passed away. Dusty was the Cherry Bombe mascot for almost a decade, and such an angel of a cat. She had been found by the NYC Animal Rescue Group and dumped, I think, up in a parking lot or something up in Harlem. And they scooped her up and put a photo of her on Instagram. And I didn't have a pet at the time. And I looked at the picture and I thought, that's meant to be my cat.
Yeah.
And I had never had that feeling before.
God.
And I got in touch with them, and they came in and did an apartment check, to make sure that my apartment. Yeah, right. Very thorough. And I passed whatever test it was, and they brought Dusty over a few days later, and she immediately made herself at home and was just by my side for the next 9 years, like constantly underfoot, constantly meowing at me, just such a character. And she had the best personality, loved everybody, and everybody loved her. She even lived in the Cherry Bombe office. Do you remember when we were on Smith Street? Mm-hmm. We had that office on Smith Street in Carroll Gardens. We had a little mouse problem. Mm-hmm. So Dusty took up residence at the office, and 3 of the women who worked with me at the time, Lauren, Jess, and Audrey, all said the same thing to me over the past few days, that Dusty was the first cat they ever fell in love with.
No.
I know.
I mean, that's the thing, like the bond between you and Dusty, that bond, so sacred, so deep, like so profound. And I saw that, and I think because we also are great cat ladies, like
yes, we're part of that club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, extra closeness there. And it's funny you say, like, I mean, they're just the most magical creatures. That's actually how I got Teeny, my great cat, Martini. Like, I had moved into an apartment that I'm currently in month of December. And the first night on the ground floor, a garden apartment, I heard a little of a mouse and I couldn't sleep. I was just like, oh my God, what? And I wasn't thinking about getting a cat, even though I'd fantasized about it for a long time, grew up with cats. The next day I opened my phone. At the top of my Instagram feed was a Greenpoint rescue. Yeah, Whiskers a Go-Go, Greenpoint cats. And I was the first person to see her. I sent a DM. I got her. And it was that love at first sight. Literally, like, that's it. That's the one. And I walked the 2 blocks to get her from her foster, literally like 2 streets over. And she was like a little shy at first. But now it's like, I talk about this with my other cat lady friends where I'm like, I can't imagine what my life was. What was my life like before her? Like a dim life, like a sad life. My quality of my life is so improved.
You did not have a sad life before that, but I understand what you mean.
And I never saw another mouse. And she never like caught a mouse. It was just that I think her mere presence was enough to kind of like scare them away. So.
Oh, yeah. Dusty caught a mouse one day.
She doesn't have those instincts. Yeah.
Oh, Dusty was a killer. Oh, my God. If she could have just roamed the neighborhood and killed at will, even though she was so beautiful, she was a killer.
Oh, I love that about cats.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just wired into them.
Looks can be deceiving.
Oh, so anyway, so many of you said really nice things on Instagram, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to be sad for a little while.
Yeah. And you have to, I feel like you have to kind of be in that sadness, too. It's like, this is a time to honor her, you know, life and what she was to you. And it just made me, I saw that instantly. I was like, oh my God, Carrie, no.
I know. All my great cat ladies, Libby, Alex, you. Yeah. I know a lot of
special
folks.
Set.
And they're unique cats. They really are. I think they're just different from other cats. I've had cats before.
Did Dusty play fetch?
No.
Okay, because Teeny plays fetch with me like a dog.
But I know some friends who have, one of Libby's cats plays fetch with hair ties. You know, little hair elastics. So funny. Yeah. All right, folks. For all of you who are not a cat lady, I'll stop talking about it right now. I love dogs too, just for the record, and horses and all animals. And I did save the mouse that Dusty caught. I somehow got it away from Dusty, put it in a container, and walked it across the street to the park.
Oh my God.
So,
amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Anyway, all animals.
Yeah.
Great and small. Love them all. Okay. Let's talk about this book.
Yes. Speaking of horses, it's going to be the year of the fire horse.
Oh, that's right. The year of the fire horse. Do you know what that means? What is special about a fire horse?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think like with the Chinese zodiac, there's this idea with the 4 elements. I think fire, there is that metaphor of kind of starting again, burning it all down, new beginnings, things that are coming up out of, you know, the kind of this transition, you know. I think that's like what's really associated with fire. But to me, it's so poignant because I have this hot pot book coming out. Sometimes it's called literally Fire Pot because it's about like a broth being lit by fire to be boiling at the table. And so I just thought that was like so apropos. And yeah, and I think,
just looked it up. Symbolizes intense energy, freedom, passion, and rapid change.
Yeah.
That's good. A lot of that describes hot pot.
Soup language.
Rapid change.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and it's a little bit later in the year. This year, it starts around mid-February. Lunar New Year is my favorite holiday because I think coming off of like the Western holidays, Christmas, like the New Year's, you know, January 1 and all that, there's kind of this like malaise that settles in with people. But then you get this great burst of, you know, activity, celebration, partying, coming together with family and friends, gifting, feasting, you know, banquets, eating at home, going out, and it lasts for 2 weeks. So I think it's just, to me, that's the real beginning of the new year. And so I think when we were thinking about when do I want everyone hot pot to be available, I was really seeing it as hopefully a part of people's Lunar New Year celebrations.
I love some of the rituals, like cutting your hair.
Exactly.
Cleaning your house before the celebration begins.
Yeah, and it really comes into food in such a profound way, like I think in ways that you don't really see in Western food tradition, where ingredients, dishes are symbolic and hold meaning. You know, noodles for long life, like dumplings for good fortune and prosperity. All of these ingredients, numbers, there's such a rich text of symbols and metaphors and storytelling around food specifically. So, you know, I thought with Hot Pot, like it's such a great opportunity to engage with all of those rituals and have fun.
It's such great timing because of everything Hot Pot represents. And I was trying to, no pun intended, like boil it down to its essence. And I was like, okay, it can be economical. I mean, yeah, you can go to town with the ingredients, but it's economical, it's community, and it's delicious.
Exactly.
And I just thought, those are three things we need right now more than anything.
Totally. I mean, yeah, I'm like, can we put that blurb on the book, please? Because that is at the heart of the book. And is that, to me, Hot Pot is remarkable because it embodies such a range of human needs. And I think the best cookbooks kind of meet you where you are. They meet the reader where they are. And that was something I wanted to do with More Than Cake, which is provide formulas for people to go off script if they wanted to, but also give people like that framework for working more literally from the book if they, are less experienced. And I think Hot Pot does that so effortlessly because it's all about picking and choosing the pieces of it that speak to you. If you're vegan, great. Like load up on the veggies and on the tofu. You want to ball out, put some raw oysters and some, caviar on the table. Like you're having a lot of people, a few people, the meal scales up and down effortlessly. So
we should back up a little because there might be some people who have never had Hot Pot and don't entirely know what it is. I was lucky the first time I ever had it I was in Hong Kong. And it was a giant hot pot restaurant. Not a giant hot pot. It was a giant restaurant that specialized in hot pot. And every single table, had the burner on it and all the ingredients. And I mean, there were just like hundreds of people in this restaurant.
Yeah.
What is hot pot?
So broadly speaking, hot pot speaks to the style of eating of a kind of a shared communal broth that is quite literally steaming or simmering at your table. So it's a sort of interactive tableside eating where you're eating a la minute, sort of bite-sized morsels of food. You're kind of dunking it in the broth to poach or quickly boil it. And then maybe you're like swiping it through a really flavorful dipping sauce. Also, this is absolutely not something that's specific to Chinese cuisine or Chinese tradition. This is something you see all over Asia, East Asia, South Asia, and also in other parts of the world as well. But I think for the purposes of this book, I'm sort of talking about this idea of hot pot as a diasporic tradition and how it makes its way over to the U.S., how I grew up with it with a mom who, is from Beijing and grew up doing hot pot herself. And that's the tricky thing about doing research for a book like this is you can't just say it's any one thing because even within a country like China, there's a myriad variations of this meal. What you have in Hong Kong is not going to be like what you have in northern parts of China. And it can vary hugely from place to place. What hot pot is at home could be different from what hot pot is in a restaurant. I mean, even here in New York, like you can get Thai hot pot, Viet style hot pot, Japanese shabu shabu, like Korean donabe or KBBQ hot pot combo, like the Taiwanese style hot pot with different fixings. The variety is unbelievable. And I was really trying to get at the heart of this idea of this is a fun communal meal that's deeply interactive, that is not precious. So it's a very disarming thing. It's inherently this like very social meal. So it's a meal that you could do with somebody that you never met before. And it would be a great way to get to know that person because, I think a lot of Western style dining, I mean, small plates now is a very popular, family style is a very trendy way of eating now. But when I think of some like Western styles of dining, it's here's your one plate of food that you don't share. It's just for you. It's very contained. Okay, clear it. Next course. This is the opposite of that. Like this is about sharing, bumping elbows, knocking things over, reaching across the table. So there's a reason why it spoke to me so hard when I was a little kid was because it was a meal where I could be a little messy, where I could have fun and I could choose the morsels that I wanted to eat more of. And I just was like, oh my gosh, there's no comprehensive book dedicated just to this topic in English. And I couldn't believe it. And at first I was like, is there going to be enough to say about this? And then as I was working on it, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough room to say all the things that I want to say. So they really surprised me in that way.
So cool. Walk us through if you want to have hot pot at home.
Yeah.
What's an easy starter hot pot?
I would say like the one non-negotiable thing is you need some sort of a source for heat. They have like electric hot pots that you plug into the wall, like Instant Pot, crock pot style. You can buy a little camping stove at Home Depot that takes cans of gas and you have the exposed flame. An induction burner that's electric. That's the one thing you need, which is a way to keep the broth at a level of simmering throughout the course of the meal. Because again, you're cooking the food as you eat it, bite by bite, throughout the course of the meal. So once you have that, you can probably pull together everything else you need from what you already have, whether it's a soup pot, a Dutch oven. They have special, pots with dividers that are for hot pot. Those are great and really fun. And then, from there, I think a flavorful broth or stock is sort of the backbone of the hot pot meal. And this is sort of my philosophy with creating desserts and baking too, which is building layers of flavor. So how are we doing that? You're starting with a flavorful broth. You have these great variety of different bites of food on the table, maybe a leafy green, some fresh herbs. There's some thinly sliced meat, maybe a little seafood, some noodles. And then you have, once that kind of comes out of the broth, it might be as quick as 10 seconds, 20 seconds. You're kind of pulling it through a flavorful dipping sauce. And that could be so many directions you can go in. But that's, again, we're building layers of flavor. We're adding richness. We're reintroducing fat back into the bite. And it becomes kind of hypnotic. One of my favorite things to do is to have hot pot with people who've never had it before. And I was with some friends last weekend, and my friend was like, this is psychedelic. I feel like I'm hallucinating. There's something about kind of the going back and forth, reaching for more bites, that you kind of go into this incredible hypnotic state. And the act of sipping on the broth and all the spices and the aromas, it kind of takes over, and it becomes this almost like a mental
I love
state
that
of
description.
being.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go to REI and buy myself a little camping burner.
Yeah.
What are your favorite ingredients to have for hot pot if you're just doing a fun one at home?
Totally. Amazing question.
Thank you.
I think the spine of my hot pot, cabbage is something where I'm like, I gotta have cabbage.
Napa?
Gotta have the Napa cabbage. I mean, I've tried other kinds, but I know.
Once you have Napa, there's no going back.
Going back. But I think I love ingredients.
Did you say going back?
I love ingredients where you could have them al dente with a bit of crisp bite to them, or you could forget about them and they kind of get velvety, melt in your mouth, sort of disappear into the broth. Fresh mushrooms. I love an enoki mushroom. So good in hot pot. Right now I'm on kind of a lamb kick. I love the really thinly sliced lamb.
Is that something you have to ask your butcher to do, or do they sell it?
You could. You can totally ask your butcher to do that. And I also think that if you're going to an Asian grocery store, a chain like 99 Ranch, H Mart, something like that, hot pot is such a cornerstone of home cooking that they sell it cut already. So you just go and you just buy these little trays, and they're sliced already to that perfect translucent thinness, or rolled up into kind of a straw cigar shape, and it's done. It's great because you're actually eating so much less. So if you're somebody who's perhaps trying to cut back on eating meat, hot pot is such a great way to do that, to dabble with that, because you're not eating a 6-ounce steak. It looks like a lot visually because it's shaved quite thinly and it looks like a real big mountain, but actually it's just a couple grams, and you feel very satisfied with that amount.
I can't remember from when I had it, but is the broth served after, once everything's been dipped in and it's more flavorful?
It can be. A tradition that I grew up with was my mom never made a broth. She would start with water. And that's kind of profound too, because in the act of having hot pot with friends and family, you're creating a communal soup together. And so in my family's house, the moment that signals that the meal is complete is you get a ladle full of that nourishing broth at the very end. And that's sort of the epilogue. We're done. Now we can sip on this delicious, complex soup that we made with all these different ingredients. You might pour that soup into the dregs of your sauce bowl, and then you kind of get this incredible, nutty, sort of spicy, delicious broth. And that's something that I love. But people also like to sip on the broth throughout too. And that's also fine.
You know what popped in my head, and this is so funny? Lazy girl hot pot, where you literally just stand over a pot of broth on your stove
and just one at a time, totally. I mean, there's something hypnotic about, that back and forth motion. But I think at its heart, hot pot, it's almost a context for coming together. It's sort of you're setting the scene. So if you are someone that wants to have dinner parties in the new year, but you don't feel that confident about your cooking skills, but you want to have people over, or you don't want to spend all day cooking in the kitchen. I know sometimes I don't want to do that. Hot pot is a great way to just be like, pick up a couple ingredients at the store, put out some, mushrooms and noodles and sliced sweet potato and call some friends over, and that's done. You're done. Like, you don't even need to cook. Of course, like, I wrote a cookbook, so there are also recipes in case people are more type A like me and want to kind of make more things from scratch. But I think it's such an easy way for people to opt into this idea of, like, I think dinner parties are really coming back in this great way where people want to hang out in a low-stakes way at home. They don't want to go out and spend a ton of money. They want to have these, like, intimate gatherings that don't feel fussy or overly formal. And, people who grew up with hot pot already, it's like a secret that we already know. This is the easiest and most fun way to do it.
Natasha, you mentioned your mom. She once again worked on this book with you.
Yep.
Can you tell us her contributions?
Yes. So, and this was an idea I had very clear in my head before I even started working on the book proposal. My mom is a visual artist. Her name is Li Huai, and she also illustrated my first cookbook, More Than Cake. And it was such a special and profound experience of collaborating with my mom. And if you're the kid of an immigrant, of a Chinese immigrant, like, maybe this sounds familiar to you, but it's like our relationship was much more, are you good? Do you have what you need? Are you dressed warmly enough? Are you taking your vitamins? It was a lot of housekeeping that I think is very common with the mother-daughter dynamic in that kind of household. And I think I was looking to introduce more nuance into our relationship and show her a little bit more about my work and what I do. And what better way than to have her also participate in that work with me. And it was a great experience. I was so happy with how everything looked. And the Hot Pot book, I see it as a companion piece to More Than Cake. Even though the topics are quote unquote different, I think they look great together. There's a visual continuation of some of the aesthetic style in the first book. And with her artwork, I think, though, she knocked it out of the park. I gave her no creative direction. I was basically like, here's the manuscript for some of the spot illustrations, which are the small black and white drawings that kind of are like embedded in the text. I did give her like a list of sort of thought starters. So I was like, chopsticks, knob of ginger, teapot, like just things that I thought would work in like a, sweet way. And that obviously easy for her. She can do it in her sleep. I'll get like cards mailed from her and they'll have these drawings on them. I literally showed her. I was like, this is just what you do when you are doodling on a napkin, just like this. Exactly. But I think where the book is really outrageous are all these 2-page spreads she did for the chapter openers, where again, all I did was give her the names of what the chapters were, like not too sweet desserts, beverages and cocktails, whatever. She just did this like fever dream of these and I think it, whether she meant it to or not, does tap into that psychedelic feeling of Hot Pot where the dizzying array of ingredients, the people laughing, the fog, like the steam on the windows, the messes and the spills. I think she captured that gorgeous chaos of the meal too. And so I was like looking at some of these pieces and I'm like, I'm seeing something new every time I like look at this stuff. And so, yeah, it's absolutely killer. It's so, so, so great. She translated the Hot Pot title into Chinese. She's a trained Chinese classical calligraphy artist as well. So she did a beautiful rendering of the book title on the title page in, Chinese characters in the classical style. And it has her signature chop at the end, which is her signature, kind of that like yellow, that red seal at the end of that punctuates that you would see in the corner of all of her pieces. I'm just like so excited to see this. And it's funny, like when I'm talking about the book to people, I feel like kind of what people are as excited about over the recipes, my writing, whatever, the photos, which are unbelievable, is the artwork piece of it, where people are like, what's your mom's website? Is she on Instagram? I'm like, I'm trying, but she refuses. She's like not on the internet.
I will say that's what I was super excited about because I just love that you once again collaborated with your mom and she's been part of so much of the work and collateral that you've put out into the world. let's talk about your book tour, because you had an epic book tour last time. And in
Big
fact,
sale themed.
when a lot of people come to me and say, I've got a cookbook coming out, but I don't know what to do for my tour, where to go, blah, blah, blah. I'm always like, go and see what Natasha Pickowicz did, because she just raised the bar for book tours.
We produced like 7 bake sales nationwide instead of doing a typical book event. Because I wanted to, like, for More Than Cake, I actually wanted to decenter myself in the touring of it. Because I think I was so nervous about making myself kind of like, it was my first book. Like,
You're like, I wrote a book. Don't pay attention to me.
Yeah, I was like, let's do it at bake sale and have it be about the 13 other chefs that are here. Actually, my pub date was 2 days before Jubilee that year.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
Jubilee was like the first bit of the tour that I did, signing books there. And I just remember being like, all these people are lined up. It was just a completely out-of-body experience.
And then the bake sale the next day was epic. You had it the Sunday after Jubilee.
Exactly. Yeah, because I wanted to schedule it around that. Well, that was also intentional because I was like, well, all these great people are going to be in town. I like the idea of people coming to New York for Jubilee and being able to stick around and come to a like-minded event and see more people that they love. So that was great. But so for this, I went ambitious in sort of like a different direction. I'm doing all these great dinners that are hot pot meals in restaurants across the country. So we're doing a hot pot dinner at Lei Wine in Chinatown.
Another one of our cover stars.
Exactly. And she's in the book. I interviewed her for the book.
I saw that chapter.
I talked to her about wine and pairing wine with hot pot.
And you all know
brilliant.
Annie. She's one of the founders of King.
Exactly.
Restaurant.
Yeah. And she does Jupiter right around the corner.
Here at Rock Center.
And so,
that's fun. Did that sell out yet?
It was, well, we haven't even announced it.
Oh,
it's going to be March 2nd.
Okay.
It will, because Lei Wine, if you haven't been there yet, is such
hard
a
to get
jewel
into.
box of a restaurant. So it's really intimate, really chic. Chef Patty makes some of my favorite food in the city. So that was a no-brainer. We're going to do a full hot pot at Bonnie's in Williamsburg. And I've collaborated with Calvin before, and he's a blast. And so I'm doing some other stuff across the country at Mr. Jew's in San Francisco. We're doing hot pot dinners I'm going to Montreal, where I used to live, going to San Diego, where I grew up. I'm doing a couple farm stops. I have this vision for like roadside soup stand at Chino Farms in Rancho Santa Fe, California, where I'll do a book signing, and they never do events. So I'm kind of like, I get to do an event here. Like, I feel so special, but they're family. And so I have this vision of like, they have this impeccable roadside vegetable stand where they sell, it's the only place you can buy their veggies. Best produce in Southern California. Honestly, like beyond that. But so I have this vision of like, they have their vegetable stand, and then I'll also have like a roadside soup stand and kind of get like hot pot on the go. I'm going to do a collab with Elbow Bread here in the city. My first book talk will be at Archestratus, like in my home away from home.
That's a bookstore in Greenpoint.
On my street. It's literally on my block. Because again, hot pot is about bringing people together. It's such a personal ritual for me because I grew up doing it. I wanted the tour to reflect that sense of intimacy. And so all the collaborators are dear friends, people I admire. I love what they're doing. And so producing those events has just been like a blast because it's so different than the bake sale or a bakery pop-up or whatever. And it's more just like, I'm just so excited to see how the meal is expressed in these different cities. We're going to do a hot pot in LA, and it's like, Citrus and Cali in February, hot pot outdoors. I want people to be doing, hot pot al fresco, and it feels very LA to me. And so I want the hot pot to be a reflection of where all the places I'm going are, who all those people are. So people can see how modular it is, how adaptable it is based on, your resources, who you are, what you're into.
Sounds very Natasha.
Yeah. Doing too much. My publicist is like, I'm a little worried. You're doing quite a lot. And I was like, I know.
I don't think you're capable of anything but that.
I've been waiting for this moment. And that's the thing. I'm very lucky in that, Annie, for example, they had this phenomenal cookbook that came out last fall. She also has 2 kids, through a clutch of restaurants. She has so many other things going on now. I feel like I have this incredible luxury of when my book comes out, that is my tunnel vision focus, where I'm like, this is my one shot at bringing this meal to people across the country. And I can kind of put everything else on the back burner while I focus on this one thing. So I wanted it to feel really ambitious. Like I wanted it to be involved and long and talk about the Lunar New Year and, you know, my family and stuff like that. So I brought it upon myself.
Let's do a speed round.
Okay.
What beverage do you start the day with?
Oh, coffee. Yeah, obviously.
How do you take it?
I do a black drip pour over, you know, 1 cup, I'm good to go.
What's always in your fridge?
White sesame paste. I use it for everything. Yeah.
What was your favorite food as a child?
Ooh, I would say like a scallion pancake. Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah.
What's your favorite snack food today?
French fries. Haven't figured out a way to incorporate French fries into hot pot yet, but
My favorite people are the people who say, let's get fries for the table.
Yeah. Or just me when I go to a diner by myself. Let's get fries for the table of me. Yeah.
That's a good practice too.
Yeah.
What's your most used kitchen tool or implement?
Probably chopsticks. Use them for everything. Yeah. Cooking, eating. If this was a baking interview, I would say my scale, my digital scale.
Okay. What are you streaming right now?
Ooh, okay. I just finished The Cher Company, the Tim Robinson show on HBO Max. So if you're a fan of his weird, bizarre comedy, I actually have rewatched it again already.
That's a commitment.
They're only like 8 episodes that are like half an hour long, I feel, but it's not for everyone. But those who like it are devotees of his style, kind of surrealist comedy.
Okay. Got to check it out. I'm watching Pluribus.
Oh, I already finished that. Yeah, amazing.
2 episodes left. It's like 1.5, kind of.
So
holy cow.
Good.
Rhea?
The songs, music, and it's good too.
Oh.
She's incredible.
You know what? The music is good. It has me so freaked out. I don't even know if I've paid enough attention to the music. But the episode I just finished, she does a lot of singing.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. So good.
The Judas Priest scene with the golf balls into the building. I mean, I thought that was
perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
Such a great show. Yeah. That's because this season finale aired on, I want to say Christmas Eve. So I remember being like, I'm doing nothing today and watching it at like 10 a.m.
It's like the opposite of a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Totally. I have no idea how it's going to end. I can't wait. What are you listening to these days? Because you love music too, right? As much as I do.
Oh my gosh. So much. I have been listening a lot to actually this Brooklyn musician, Paul Spring. I can't get enough. I don't even know how I came across his music, but I've been binging his albums, if that makes sense. I'll send you a link later.
Okay,
but
Paul
yeah,
Spring
can't recommend enough. Now that I know he's like based in New York, I'm like, I got to go see him play. Yeah.
Very cool. What's a song that makes you smile?
Oh, I just listened to, I'm putting together the playlist for my Hot Pot cookbook release party. And I have this playlist that's all like Chinese canto covers of Western pop songs. So there's this really great cover of Dreams, the Cranberry song, that's in one of my favorite movies, but it's all sung in Chinese, and it's one of the best covers ever.
Oh, I have to hear it. I have a running cover song playlist.
Oh, cool.
Called Cover Girls.
Oh, I'll send you the link then.
So many good
It's
covers.
Great. It's awesome.
Oh, good. I want that playlist. I've totally gotten into making playlists again.
Yeah.
I just decided last year I'm going to lean into everything that my 16-year-old self loved.
Yes. I love that. I love that.
Are you Apple or Spotify?
I am Spotify. Yeah, I'm Spotify. I mean, I have playlists that I've been making on Spotify for like 15 years or something. And every bake sale I've ever had, playlist. Parties, holidays, hot pot dinners, like playlist to give to boys, like playlist, you know, like, because I have like tens of thousands of songs saved in my account. So I need some way of navigating that.
I still have my old restaurant playlist. My gosh.
Yes, exactly. Me too. I have like ultra playlists on there. It just takes me right back. Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw there was something on Instagram and said, playlists are my love language. I was like, oh my God, 100%.
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite food smell?
Steaming rice. The smell of rice. But I would say even more specifically, the smell of rice steaming with butter in it is one of the most intoxicating scents of all time.
What's your favorite food film?
I just rewatched Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, the Ang Lee movie that's set in Taiwan. I've watched it with my parents at Metrograph downtown on Ludlow. And wow, first of all, I mean, for the food shots alone, it is a must watch.
How dreamy to see it on a big screen.
And it was like in the original like run, so it had this like great texture to it. Can't recommend it enough if you haven't seen it. It's also just like a great film about family.
Dream travel destination?
I've never been to Taiwan, and that's really, really, really high on my bucket list. My parents go pretty frequently, and every time I see somebody going there and eating food, I'm like, I want to like drop everything I'm doing and go there. I just feel like I would. I know I would love it. I know I would love it.
Do you have a motto or a mantra?
Well, I would say like make every mistake once. Yeah. That's actually something my old pastry chef used to tell me. And I think the real meaning of that phrase is make every mistake once, because those are opportunities for learning and for growth. And it's a very efficient way of learning something about yourself is by making a mistake or failure in general. Yeah.
Are you good at trusting your gut?
I think so. I mean, definitely like the older we get, probably. I definitely, am learning to care less about what other people think. And I think that's a big part of listening to your gut. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you had to be trapped on a desert island with one food celebrity, who would it be and why?
I mean, I'm rereading a lot of MFK Fisher stuff right now. And there's just something about the way that she writes that I just feel like we would have so much to talk about.
You think she would be useful on a desert island?
Oh, are we trying to survive?
Well, no,
it's like a party.
This is your answer, but I'm just curious. She just doesn't strike me as like, yeah, we'll be fine.
No, we would just chat all day long. She's also very good about making do with what you have. Also, that's like a big part of her ethos. So I think if you're stranded on a desert island, there might be something philosophically satisfying about that.
You are the first person to say MFK Fisher, so congratulations.
I mean, we're probably going to waste away on that island, so,
All right, everyone, Hot Pot, the name of the new book. So exciting. Congratulations, Natasha. I know you don't do anything 50%. You don't even do anything 99%. Like, you are...
Thank you so much.
100% plus.
Such a blast.
Such a blast. Thanks for being such a huge part of Cherry Bombe, from all the crazy stuff we've done together, the covers, the bake sales, the interviews, the everything. So
much. It's been an amazing relationship. Yeah, thank you.
That's it for today's show. Thank you so much to Natasha for joining me. Be sure to pick up her new book, Everyone Hot Pot, which is out tomorrow. And don't forget, tickets are on sale for our Jubilee Conference, taking place April 25th in New York City. Visit cherrybombe.com for more. Our theme song is by the band Tra La La. Joseph Hazen is the studio engineer for Newsstand Studios. Our producers are Catherine Baker and Jenna Sadu. Our executive assistant is Bridget Pittman. And our head of partnerships is Rachel Close. Thanks for listening, everybody. You're the bomb.